You have 400 LinkedIn connections and exactly 0 people who would go to bat for you in a promotion conversation. How did that happen? You followed all the advice. You went to the networking events, you added everyone you met, you sent the connection requests with personalized messages. And yet when you actually need something, when you're looking for that next role or that introduction to a decision maker, your network is absolutely silent. The truth nobody wants to tell you is that you've been networking like a junior, and it's keeping you stuck in junior outcomes. The spray and pray approach to networking is the career equivalent of collecting business cards at a conference and never following up. It feels productive because you're doing something, you're taking action, you're being proactive. But activity is not the same as progress. Every connection you add without a real relationship behind it is just noise in your feed. And here's the uncomfortable part. That noise is actually drowning out the signal from the few relationships that could actually matter. Your brain has limited bandwidth, and you're spending it scrolling past updates from people you barely remember meeting. Research from career trajectory studies shows that the average career-changing outcome comes from approximately 5 strategic relationships, not 500. 5. These are people who know your work deeply enough to advocate for you credibly, who trust you enough to risk their own reputation on an introduction, who think of you when opportunities come up because you've built actual reciprocal value together. But building 5 real relationships takes the same time and energy most people waste on maintaining 200 shallow ones. So you have to choose. And most people choose poorly because choosing feels exclusive and uncomfortable. Everyone loves citing that Stanford study about weak ties being valuable for job searches, but they completely miss the nuance. Yes, weak ties give you access to different information networks, but the weak ties that actually produce outcomes are still real relationships, just not your closest friends. They're not random LinkedIn connections you've never spoken to. They're former colleagues who remember you shipped great work, people you helped solve a problem 3 years ago. Industry contacts you've had multiple substantive conversations with. Weak does not mean worthless or transactional. It means outside your immediate circle, but still built on genuine mutual respect and reciprocity. Let's talk about networking events because this is where the junior approach really shows itself. You go to the mixer, you work the room, you have 17 surface-level conversations about where people work and what they do. You exchange contact info with 12 people. You connect on LinkedIn the next day. And then nothing, because nothing real happened. No one learned anything meaningful about anyone else. There was no foundation for follow-up that doesn't feel forced. Senior professionals rarely work rooms this way. They go to targeted events, they have 3 deep conversations, they find one person worth actually building something with. Quality over quantity isn't just a platitude, it's a filtering mechanism. Watch how actual senior leaders build their networks. They're hyper-selective about who gets their time. They ask for introductions through trusted mutual connections, not cold outreach. They build relationships slowly over shared projects, industry working groups, or substantive problem-solving together. They keep networks deliberately small because they know reputation is built on being genuinely helpful to few people, not vaguely familiar to many. And they prune ruthlessly. If a relationship isn't mutual, isn't energizing, isn't going anywhere after multiple attempts, they stop investing. This feels harsh until you realize your time is the scarcest resource you have. The framework that actually works is reciprocity first. Before you ask anyone for anything, you need to establish a pattern of giving value. This doesn't mean fake generosity where you're clearly keeping score. It means genuinely helping people when you can, sharing useful information, making introductions that benefit them, acknowledging their work publicly when appropriate. You're building a reputation as someone who contributes to other people's success. Once that's established, asking for help or introductions doesn't feel transactional. It feels like a natural continuation of a mutually beneficial relationship. Most people skip straight to asking and then wonder why no one responds. So how do you identify your 5 strategic relationships? Start by asking who's 2 to 3 levels above you in organizations you respect, who's doing the kind of work you want to be doing in 3 years, who has access to opportunities or decision-making you're trying to reach, who operates in adjacent fields where your expertise would be valuable to them, and vice versa. Then get brutally honest about whether you have anything meaningful to offer them. If you don't yet, focus on building skills and reputation that would make the relationship mutual. Reaching out before you have something valuable to contribute is just asking someone above you to be your unpaid mentor, and that rarely works. Here's the part that makes people uncomfortable. You probably need to let most of your current network go dormant. Not dramatically unfollowing everyone, just quietly stopping the maintenance of relationships that aren't serving anyone. That college roommate you haven't seen in 8 years who you exchange happy birthday messages with. That connection from a conference 3 years ago who occasionally likes your posts but you've never spoken to again. They're taking up mental space and feed real estate that should go to your strategic 5. This feels mean until you realize you're doing them a favor too. Shallow maintenance of dead relationships helps nobody. Letting them fade naturally is honest. What does real relationship building actually look like at this level? It's sending someone an article that's specifically relevant to a project they mentioned 3 months ago. It's making an introduction that benefits both parties without you in the middle. It's showing up to their panel discussion and asking a thoughtful question. It's offering to review their strategy deck because you have relevant experience. Notice none of this is coffee for coffee's sake or let me pick your brain requests. It's all creating actual value in the context of real work. The relationship deepens because you're solving problems together, not because you're scheduling maintenance meetings. The maintenance system for strategic relationships is completely different from junior networking. Instead of trying to stay top of mind with everyone through constant posting or monthly check-ins with dozens of people, you have meaningful contact with your 5 every 6 to 8 weeks. That contact is substantive. You're sharing something useful, asking about a project you know matters to them, offering help with a challenge they mentioned. You're also creating natural opportunities to work together, whether that's co-presenting at a conference, collaborating on industry research, or serving on a working group together. Shared work builds stronger relationships than any amount of coffee meetings. Your new operating system is this. Stop adding, start deepening. Identify 5 people who could genuinely change your trajectory and who you could help succeed. Build real reciprocal value with them over months and years, not weeks. Let most other connections fade to dormant without guilt. Show up consistently for your strategic 5 with actual value, not maintenance messages. And trust that 5 real relationships will open more doors than 500 shallow ones ever could. This feels risky because it's putting your eggs in fewer baskets. But the truth is, those 500 connections were never really baskets at all. They were just the illusion of a safety net. Your strategic 5 are the actual net. Build it properly.